Hi, everybody. So I am going to talk a little bit about anti-inflammatory foods. So with life being as stressful as it is, we don't need food to be an added stressor to that. And there's a lot of foods that have a lot of inflammatory properties, a lot of processed foods, oils, gums, pretty much anything that you find in a packaged food is going to make your body more inflamed than you want it to, either due to just regular stress, chronic stress, whatever the case may be. And there are definitely foods that are going to help reduce that, but you don't want, to balance out the effect. You want to be able to live a stress-free life. And sometimes part of that is introducing an anti-inflammatory diet. It's something that I follow and have found to be very, very helpful in stress reduction and in gut healing. So if you are wondering, hey, maybe I should try this and see how I feel, a few people that may want to try this as people living with chronic health conditions and chronic illnesses such as Crohn's, heart disease, high blood pressure, IBS, MS, obesity, psoriasis, RA, type 1 diabetes, and UC. A lot of very inflammatory things can be gluten and dairy, but if you have the enzymes that can properly digest that and you don't have an immune response to those two items, then please do keep them in your diet. Just maybe limit them and see how you feel. Believe me, I don't want you to give up pizza and pasta if you don't have to. But if you are a person that suffers from chronic illness, it may be something to try for a little while and just see how you feel, and then reintroduce it and see how you feel while you reintroduce, because that's really going to be a telltale sign as if you needed to take it out for a while, or if you can reintroduce it and can be okay with it in certain circumstances. Even if you don't have a chronic condition, you can still experience inflammation when you eat foods that you're sensitive to. Food sensitivities are not the same as food allergies. Food allergies is a histamine response. Food sensitivities are not. They are inside the body, not outside the body. So you may experience like gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, just overall like feeling not good with a food sensitivity, like lactose intolerance, or for example, my food sensitivities are every single grain on the book. And then every single thing that's a dairy that is like cow's dairy, not like goat or sheep. Corn, soy, yeast, green beans, and pineapple. Eggs is on my food sensitivities list, although I do eat them every other day because I need the protein. They are full of really good nutrients. And a lot of the time it's because you need to heal and seal your gut. Because a lot of times people with a ton of food sensitivities like myself, it's not like a cut and dry picture. It's not black and white. It's a very gray area. And it really does go based off of how you're feeling when you reintroduce these foods. So I have leaky gut. So my gut lining is, kind of like this versus like this. So all of those food particles were, going into my bloodstream, and then my body was attacking it as it should because it's a foreign substance. So my body's doing exactly what it's supposed to, which is, having an immune response to my food through going through my digestive system into my bloodstream. Now, as I heal that, those food sensitivities are going to start going away. Like I said, they're not cut and dry. It's not something that's a forever thing unless you don't have the enzyme to digest them, as the case with gluten and dairy, or you have a huge autoimmune response to it in the case of celiac disease and autoimmunity. So, how do you know if you're experiencing inflammation? It's really going to depend on the person, but redness, puffiness, skin rashes, swelling in your hands and feet, again, that bloating, constipation, diarrhea, achy joints, fatigue, weight gain, headaches, gastrointestinal issues. So kind of there's really no one size fits all diet for the anti-inflammatory diet. It's really about what works for you. But there's a few things just to always remember. Is one, scale back on your processed foods. They're going to contain a ton of oils, salts, sugars, additives that you're not going to want. Anything that says artificial or natural sugar, no. Anything that has an oil in it that is not olive, coconut, or avocado oil is an inflammatory oil, no. Any gums, like you may see like guar gum, or like there's one that starts with a A that I can't remember right now, but there's a xanthan gum. All of these gums also a no, will cause inflammation. Every so often, absolutely treat yourself. You want a pizza? Sure. You want a pint of ice cream? Sure. But not something that you should be consuming every day, because it's going to cause a lot of inflammation in your body every day as your body tries to fight and get rid of all of that gastrointestinal stress and upset. Focus on whole foods. Whole foods are the big thing. Shop the outsides of the grocery store. Whole foods, fruits, veggies, meats, whole grains, nuts, legumes, oats, those types of things, as long as you don't have an immune response. Also with those things, I know rice and oats are gluten-free, but if you do happen to be a person that cannot digest gluten or have a lot of sensitivity to it and needs to remove it, make sure that those things do say gluten-free on the packaging, because otherwise they're going to be made in a processing plant that can contain gluten, and then cross-contamination happens, and then you may experience gastrointestinal upset. So just things to watch out for. Make sure you're reading ingredient labels. That's also going to be something very important. Honestly, I get lazy and don't want to read ingredient labels a lot. So that's why I shop the outside of the store out of pure laziness. I'm like, I just don't feel like sitting there and reading these ingredient labels for 15 minutes. So I'm just going to go get some fruits and veggies. That's the way that I shop, and I find that easier. And it's also just an overall healthier way to eat for a better lifestyle for longevity. A few known diets that people have done to reduce inflammation is the Mediterranean diet, just because it's full of really good omega-3 fatty acids, which have been proven to reduce inflammation. The DASH diet's another one. If you need to, you can try an elimination diet to figure out what you're having symptoms with, and then you want to take those out for a few months, and then you can reintroduce slowly and see how your body does. Like I said, with elimination diets, it's important to remember to not eliminate specific food groups, like cutting out, except for, again, dairy and gluten, cutting out nuts and seeds and cutting out legumes. You can for a little bit, but make sure you reintroduce and really take note of how your body feels. A lot of different ways your body can react to an anti-inflammatory diet is going to be clearer skin, decreased muscle and joint pain, decreased swelling, fewer headaches, improved gastrointestinal systems, improved sleep, less anxiety, stress, brain fog, less bloating, lower blood pressure, lower blood sugar, more energy, and weight loss. It can take a while to see the results of an anti-inflammatory diet, especially if you have a lot of stress in your life regardless. It's going to take a couple months. Nothing is quick and easy, as we know. But again, those foods that cause inflammation, just as a wrap up: sweets, packaged foods, processed meats, and I'm talking like hot dogs, processed cheeses like American sliced cheese, sugary drinks, fried foods, cooking oils that are not olive, avocado, or coconut, and those food sensitivities potentially to gluten and dairy that we do not know about. And those foods that fight inflammation are our whole foods, our fresh fruits, our leafy greens, fatty fishes, our good oils, garlic, turmeric, walnuts, cinnamon, avocados. I mentioned way long ago, all of those foods that help with brain health, all of those are anti-inflammatory foods. Just something good to know, and something honestly just good to kind of live by if you want to reduce stress and anxiety throughout your life. So that is a little bit on anti-inflammatory foods and diets and all that fun stuff.